Good morning. It's time for our early morning workout. The last of the nighttime is going away, the sun's creeping out, and we're at the gym before Hardee's has even got going. Coming to you this morning real quick. I want to bring up a couple of things that have been on my mind since I got up. The first one is this. Today I don't feel like it. Today I don't feel like being at the gym. Today I don't feel like getting a workout in. I don't feel like getting out of the house. I don't feel like getting out of bed. I don't feel like going home today and get ready for church. I don't feel like going anywhere. I don't feel like doing anything. I definitely don't feel like doing any homework. All those things got to get done today, though. So that got me to thinking, this time of year, school's getting ready to start back up for our kids. Football practices are going. Wrestling practices are going. And as a coach, I'm not always the most politically correct guy for youth sports. I do my best to take care of the kids, to teach them correctly, to do things as politely as possible. But I'm going to tell you, if your kids wrestle for me, if they play football for me, there's a principle that I want you to understand about how I coach. I treat them as my own kids. And because of that, I have a very, very big problem with a common phrase that I hear every single season from some kids on my team or their parents. And that phrase is this: it doesn't matter if you win or lose, as long as you have fun. I hate that phrase. I hate that phrase because it's stupid. If it didn't matter if you won or lost, if it doesn't matter how the end of the game turns out or the end of the match turns out, then why are we here? See, we tell our kids this because we think this reassures them that we're not going to be upset with them if they lose. We don't want their feelings to get hurt. We want them to feel okay about it. It reassures them that we support them. But what it really tells them is that there's no point. What it really tells them is that we don't have the confidence in them to win. What it really tells them is that we don't trust them to be good enough. See, most of the time when we make mistakes as parents and as coaches in instilling confidence, it's because we're trying to be too gentle. We're trying to make them feel better instead of giving them the tools to do it on their own. See, I have 5 kids of my own. So when I tell you these things, when I have these ideas, it's not some guy who doesn't have any kids telling you what he thinks. It's not some cliche coach telling you this is the way things should be. No, I'm a dad. I'm a dad first and foremost. And I treat my athletes like my kids because that's what my dad did. And I treat my athletes with a level of courtesy, of respect, and of love. I teach them accountability. I teach them teamwork. I teach them the ability to persevere and overcome. And then I have confidence in them to go out and do it. I let them know how much I believe in them. See, I always go back to biblical principles in my life, whether it's as a person, a father, as a worker, and I see what happened there. How did that work? How does that fit? And this modern idea that it doesn't matter whether we win or lose, it's just about our feelings, I don't find that in the book. What I find in the book is in 1 Samuel, I see a story of a young man named David who stood before a giant who's caused an entire nation of warriors to shake and tremble. No one was willing to stand up to him because they didn't feel like they could beat him. They didn't feel like they could win. They didn't feel like today was the day. But here's this boy who had the confidence to stand before him. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. Because his dad was a good coach. See, Jesse, his father, Jesse put him in charge of a flock as a boy. Jesse sent him out to take care of the sheep. Made it his responsibility, taught him how to handle it, taught him how to protect himself, taught him what to do when animals come around. And because of that, when Saul called David in and he said, boy, you can't fight this giant. You're not capable. What did David say? David said, hey, sure I am. My dad gave me a flock. He told me it was my responsibility to protect him. So when the bear came, I killed the bear. When the lion came and he took my lamb, I grabbed the lion by the beard. I took my lamb back and I killed him. So what I'm telling you today is if your kids play for me, they're going to hear what my son hears, what my 4 daughters have heard their entire life, and that's this. This is your responsibility. This is what I expect from you. This is your job. I want you to do your job. I'm going to teach you the tools and the skills and the responsibilities of that job. And then I'm going to trust you to do it. Because I believe wholeheartedly that you have what's inside of you to win, to be successful. And anytime that we fall short, anytime that we fail, anytime we make mistakes, I believe that you're going to be able to take responsibility for those actions. You can be accountable for those actions. And tomorrow we're going to take the necessary steps to overcome them and be better. That's what I believe in my kids. That's what Jesse believed in David. That's what David, the ability, the confidence, and the experience to stand before a giant when all men trembled. Sports, to me, are not about sports. It's not about becoming a pro athlete. The likelihood of that is so unbelievably minimal. To me, sports are about life. Learning life lessons, teamwork, accountability, responsibility, work ethic. And because of that, I'm going to tell you this. Most people in my generation who are struggling right now are struggling because someone told them it didn't matter if they won or lost. Because someone in their life, someone important to them, told them they didn't believe in them. But it's okay as long as you feel okay about it. I'm standing here in an empty parking lot. Because somebody is sitting at home right now not feeling like it. Somebody who's on the verge of a stroke, a heart attack, congestive heart failure, diabetes, because they don't feel like it. Someone's on the verge of not seeing their children graduate because they don't feel like it. Somebody is sitting at home today starving because they didn't feel like going to that job interview. They were too scared to fill out that application. Fear is a feeling too. Somebody walked off the job last night because they got put in their place and held accountable for their actions. They stomped away. That boss, he got me again. Guys know what he's talking about. It's his fault. Because they allowed feelings to overcome good decisions. Mental illness is a problem, and I made a video about that if you want to check it out on YouTube over at C. Wayne Son, or my links are on my Instagram and Facebook. But I'm going to tell you part of the video I made, and I'm going to reinstate that here, is that sometimes what we bring upon ourselves in the mental health deficiency is that we allow so much on how we feel that we forget to be disciplined enough to do our jobs. We'd rather sit at home and dwell on how it's someone else's responsibility, or how we're too important for that to have happened to us, or we're too valuable, or that other people aren't good enough. One of my least favorite things to see in adults comes from that exact same phrase they were taught as children, and that's doesn't matter if you win or lose, it's how you feel about it. So when you become an adult, what happens is you don't say that because you're not playing sports anymore. What you hear as an adult is, I just can't find the motivation. Let me tell you something right now. Using the gym as an example, using fitness as an example, using a diet as an example, general health. If you can't look around your home at your wife, your husband, your children, your grandchildren, your nieces and nephews, your neighbors, your friends, and see that those people want you around and find motivation in that, you're not going to find motivation in anything. You can spend millions of dollars on trainers, dietitians, coaches, whatever else, but you're still going to sit at home, not go and do what you're supposed to do because you don't feel like it, because you can't find the motivation. Motivation is a lie. Motivation is like lust. It sparks. It can get you there and get you started and get you moving, but it doesn't last. Because motivation is based on that feeling. No, discipline. Discipline is like love. Discipline is an act of the will. Discipline is on Sunday morning at 6:30. You can get up, drag your butt out of bed and go to the gym. Go home, get cleaned up, go to church. Go home and do your homework to finish your higher education so you can provide better for your family because you love. It's an act of the will. It's an effort. Stop telling your kids that it doesn't matter if they win or lose. Start telling your kids to go out and do their job, to put their best effort in, to give 110%. And if they fall short, then tomorrow, after the pain goes away of a loss, we're going to sit down and discuss what we can do to overcome that learning lesson and be better tomorrow. Show them you have the confidence they can win. Give them the tools to be successful so that when they're an adult, they're not looking for motivation. They see the end result. They see the goal. They see the success on the horizon. And regardless of whether or not they feel like it this morning, when the sun rises, they're going to rise and they're going to chase that dream because you made them strong. You gave them tools to overcome. You allowed them to go out and face the lion and the bear. And now they have the experience and the confidence to face the giants. I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you chase your dreams this week. I hope you go out, persevere, and overcome. And I hope that you realize that you may not feel like it today, but you can still go out, make a difference, and be successful. Have a good one.